Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to show you an arrows indicator. This is based on the TMA trading system, and as you can see we have these three bands. These are the TMA bands and price fluctuates between these bands. So this arrows indicator, it will show you the buy arrows and the sell arrows, and it will also show you this bounding box, which will be the most predictable take profit and stop loss that you can place. And sometimes when the price right here the price is ranging, but over here as you can see the price starts to slope downwards. In that case, this arrows indicator, it will check the slope and it will ignore all of these trades, and it won't show you a buy or a sell signal. These arrows, they show when a cross has happened. Whenever price crosses the upper band or whenever price crosses the lower bands, you will see this orange colored diamond, and green means this is a buy signal, the red means that this is a sell signal. And all of these, as soon as an orange diamond occurs, it will wait for the price to start going up, but all of these are ignored and you aren't seeing a buy signal right here because the price is sloping downwards. So this arrows indicator, it is available for sale on my website abiroid.com, and I have the links in the description below. And the site also explains in great detail how to use this arrows indicator, the best strategies to use it, but I will also show you a quick tutorial so that you know how to use it. And based on this arrows indicator, I also have a scanner dashboard that you can use. This dashboard uses these arrows and it shows you multiple pairs and multiple time frames and the best trading signals. So in this dashboard, the first one is the current slope, and all of these other diamonds, they are the higher time frame slopes. The green background means that the price has crossed the lower band and it might soon start going back up. Same way the red background, it means that the price has crossed the upper band, and as soon as all the conditions are met, this dashboard will give you a buy signal or a sell signal, a buy or a sell pop up. And the color of this background, it will change to a brighter green, and this will change to a brighter red when the buy or a sell signal occurs. So I'll go into the dashboard detail also, but the site also has all the indicator settings and all the dashboard settings that you can use. So if you like, just check it out. So yeah, going back to Metatrader. Okay, let me just quickly go over the indicator properties. So right here we have these are the upper, lower and middle bands. So this one is created using the TMA true indicator, and these support and resistance lines, they are created by this indicator, and this one is the indicator which I'm talking about, and this is the one which gives you all of these buy and sell arrows. And finally we have this RSI indicator. So let me go into the properties for this one. So first of all, we have the shift setting. So shift means which bar you want to see the results for. Because the current bar is still forming, so I would suggest not using 0, it won't work well. Next up is see detailed journal logs. So this arrows indicator, it will ignore some of the trades, like all of these orange diamonds have occurred, but it is still not showing any buy trades because of the slope downwards. So if you want to see detailed logs of exactly why a trade is being ignored, you can leave this to true, and you will see it won't show you pop-ups, it will just show you the journal logs. The next up, you can also use Heiken Ashi price. So right here it is using the actual price, but you can also use, I'll show you later on how to use the Heiken Ashi indicator with this. Next is the TMA period. So how many previous bars, for that you would like to take. TMA is basically triangular moving average, and it is the average of simple moving average. So right here, let me just show you. So we all know that simple moving average is the average of all the prices and the total number of bars. So right here, whatever period you have set, and TMA is basically the average of each of those simple moving averages, and right here n is the period. Based on that, these three TMA bands are formed. So this is that TMA period for which you would like these bands to be calculated. Next up is whether or not you want to check the higher time frame slopes. So right now we are only checking the current time frame slope. So as the price is sloping downwards, the TMA is also in a downward slope, which is why these trades are ignored, because this is set to true. If I set this to false, then suppose if you get this, lower band is crossed and then the price starts to go up and it forms a higher high than the previous bar, then in that case right here you will get a buy signal. But as you can see, the price, it does reach the middle band in this case, but right here suppose if you had this signal and the price went downwards, and right here you would have gotten a buy signal. So as you can see, the price still kept going downwards. So I would suggest that you leave this setting to true. And sometimes if your chart is, the volatility is too high, in that case you might also want to check the higher time frame slopes. So if this setting is set to true, then it will check the 3 higher time frames. Like for example, right now we are trading on H1, and it will check for H4 daily and weekly charts, and it will see if those slopes are also upwards, then it will only allow buy trades. If the slope is downwards, it will only allow sell trades. And if the slope is ranging like this, in that case it will allow both trades. Suppose we have set the TMA slope threshold to 0.3, and this slope right here, it is probably 0.5 or 0.6. So in that case it will check if the slope is between these two values, means price is ranging like right here, it will allow both buy and sell trades. And if the slope is above that threshold, it will allow buy trades only. If the slope is below that threshold, it will allow sell trades only. Now suppose if you are trading on H4, then it will show you daily, weekly and monthly slopes for those charts also. But sometimes you might want to ignore the monthly slope, so you can set this to true. And as I explained, this is the slope threshold. And sometimes you might want to take trades only when market is overbought or oversold. So in that case you can use RSI. So if that happens, and if you get a signal like, if the upper or lower bands have crossed, during that time it will check, like right here you can see that the RSI has been over sold. So it will take into consideration the next buy signal that you get. This is the default RSI period, and you can also set the oversold and overbought levels, and by default this is set to false. And this setting by default, this is true. And as I explained in one example, right here the price has crossed the upper band, but in the next bar the price comes too low and it already reaches the middle band. So in cases like this, if the price has reached too close to your take profit, then it will ignore that particular trade. By default it is set to true. Let me just give you an example. Right here, as you can see, your take profit would be here and the starting point is this yellow line. Suppose the distance from the lower band and the middle band, if you consider that as 100%, then this is below the 30% mark. And over here also, if you consider this distance as 100%, this is below 30%, would be right here. So if the price has crossed below this, then it will ignore that particular trade. So leave this to true by default, I would suggest. And you can set this min distance to whatever you like based on the chart you're trading. And these rectangles, these are prediction rectangles only. So if you don't want these, then you can set this setting to false. And the stop loss ratio, soon as you get a sell signal right here, it will consider that bar's close as your starting point, and it will consider the middle band as take profit. And if the stop loss ratio is 1, then it will consider the stop loss to be the same distance as your take profit. If your stop loss is 0.5, then it will consider it as half that of take profit. But for stop loss, I would suggest that you, for sell signals, consider the nearest resistance and you place the stop loss above that. And for buy signals, consider the nearest support and you place your stop loss below that zone. And if this distance is too much, then in that case you might also right here, if that distance is too high and if your take profit is too much, then you can also ignore that particular trade. And same way, if your stop loss is too small, then right here, if you set minimum stop loss to 70 points, then if it's any lower than this, then that particular trade will automatically be ignored and it won't show up on the chart. Right here, yeah, this 500 and this 70, these are both in points. And finally, max past bars. So these are the number of bars, previous bars, for which you want to see the buy and sell signals. If you are only interested in forward trading, then I would suggest that you leave this to a lower number like 50 or 100. If you want to see past signals also, then you can also set it to a higher number. And the final settings, these are for your alerts. So by default the pop-up alerts are true. So as soon as you get a buy or a sell arrow, this red or green arrow, you will get a pop-up. And these are if you want an email or if you want a push notification, then you can also set these to true. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the settings. Now let me just show you how to use the Heiken Ashi with this one. Suppose if you set this to true, and I'll set the ignore if take profit too close temporarily to false so that we can see all the signals, and I'll leave everything as is. So when you are using the Heiken Ashi prices, then you should also use this Heiken Ashi smoothed indicator. And all of these indicators, the support and resistance, the Heiken Ashi, and this one TMA true lines, all of these indicators are also available with the package along with this arrows indicator. So yeah, let me just set this and let me also hide these prices. Yeah, so now you can see with Heiken Ashi, you will get to take profit lines, because sometimes when the sell signal happens, the actual price has already moved close to the middle band. So you can also set like a take profit here and take profit here. So let's go back to the other. Yeah, so whenever the Heiken Ashi price crosses the upper band and then the price starts to come back down, so as you can see, the yellow line indicates the starting price. Let me zoom in. So even though the Heiken Ashi price is slightly higher, the actual starting price would have gone a bit lower, and this is very small, this take profit. So you can also set the second take profit slightly higher than the lower band. So first it will hit TP1, and after that you can move the stop loss to the starting point, and you can move your take profit slightly lower, and also you can also keep moving the stop loss by using a trailing stop. So that's the Heiken Ashi indicator. Let me zoom out again, and let me so all of these trades were ignored, and if I go back and if I had set the check current time frame slope to false, then it won't check the slope and it will show you these trades. But as you can see, the slope is going downward, so these are bad trades. So let me just play this in the strategy tester for a little while. Actually, Heiken Ashi makes it a bit slow. So let us go back to the original settings. So the default settings will have Heiken Ashi to false. It will have check current time frame slope to true, and it will also have ignore profit to close to true. So let us just run the strategy tester with these default settings so that I can show you the journal logs, and you can see what it looks like if a particular trade is ignored. Let me remove this Heiken Ashi smooth and get the prices back, and let's run it. Let me get a few signals. Yeah, so right here, as you can see, the slope is upwards after this, so it will ignore all of these signals, skipping sell. I'll just leave it running for a bit more. Sometimes you might also see multiple sell signals like this. So in that case, if it is forming near a resistance, if you get this first signal and while that signal is still going on, I would suggest you ignore the next few trades. Like in case if you use this particular arrows indicator with some expert advisor or something, then just be careful it doesn't do multiple trades. And right here, as you can see, sometimes you might also see a sell trade, but after that the price goes up. So just be very careful, like it might be a news event, so be careful during those. And also be very careful to trade using this support and resistance lines. And let me just explain that really quickly to you. So this is based on this arrows indicator. This is the scanner dashboard indicator, and it has the exact same settings as your, yeah, this has the exact same settings as the arrows indicator, along with a few added settings, like if you want how many pairs you would like to have, so you can select all of these presets, or you can also have your own pair list. And you can just specify a comma separated value of all the pairs that you would like, that your broker supports. Like you can also have BTC USD if you want to trade bitcoins. So for now, let me just go with Forex Core 14, and right here you can select the time frames for the dashboard, and on button, and all of these are, the dashboard font size, positioning the dashboard. And on button click, like if you click on any button in the dashboard, it will open up that chart in a new window. And I already have a template that is based on my arrows indicator. Yeah, and you can have a prefix, and all of these are those notification settings. And right here, this is the bar for which you want to get the pop-ups for. And if you would like to see the detailed journal logs, if you are trading too many pairs, and if you are getting way too many logs, then you can set this to false. And all of these are exactly the settings which I showed you on the arrows indicator. And TMA period, check higher time frame slopes or not. And even if you have this set to false, the dashboard will still show you the higher time frame slopes as diamonds, like I showed you earlier. And you can set the number of slopes that you want on the chart. If you set this to 4, then the first one would be the current, and the next one would be the 3 higher time frames. If you set this to 2, then you will only get the current time frame and one higher time frame. So let me just leave this to 4, so that I get the current time frame and the 3 higher time frames. This is the slope threshold. All of these are the RSI settings. And ignore if take profit is too close. This is true by default. And min distance from take profit, this is 30%. So yeah, and now these are the colors for the background. By default, this is set to a darker green, and this is set to a lighter green. So let me just set this to green, and I can set this to maybe brown, so that the difference is visible. Hi guys, sorry I had to stop recording yesterday, but I'm back with the dashboard today. So yeah, so as you can see, this dashboard, the red background, it indicates that the upper band was crossed and price will start going down soon. And green indicates that the lower band was crossed and price will start to go up soon. And we still need to wait for a buy or a sell signal, but all of these, they only indicate that the upper or lower band had been crossed. So you can study the dashboard and you can study the slopes in it. the very first diamond, that indicates the current time frame. The next one indicates the higher time frame. So this is for M30. So this is the M30 slope. This will be for H1, this will be for H4, and this will be for daily. And same way all of these, and the final one, this will be for weekly. So as you can see, like this particular, all the lines are yellow, all the slopes are yellow. That means that all the slopes are ranging right now. And the next one, all these first three are ranging, and finally the weekly chart, on that it is sloping, it has started to slope downwards based on our threshold that we set 0.3. And so when you study a chart, and if you see that even though the background is green, the first one indicates that the slope is downwards, so we can skip looking at a trade like this. And even here, even though the middle ones are red, the final higher slope, that is green, so we can take a look at this. But let's keep searching for another one, or even this, the two higher time frames, they are green, and the final one, this will be the weekly, that is red. But if we go in, let's take a look at one of these. So as you can see here, that the lower band was crossed and we are near a support level. So very soon, like after this bar forms, and if the next bar that is higher than this particular bullish bar, then in that case we will get a buy signal. So that is when we can place the trade, and we can wait, we can keep our take profit right here in the middle band. And as you can see, we had a sell signal a little while back, and even though it did come right here till the middle band, so this would have been a successful trade, and the slope had just started to go upwards, but it had not yet reached our 0.3 threshold, which is why we got this sell signal. But after that, all of these other signals would have been ignored. And this indicator, this is a non-repainting indicator, which means that even if a signal is even if a buy or sell signal was a bad one, you will still see it in the past. If you go back, like right here, this was a sell signal, but the price, it didn't exactly reach till our take profit. Our take profit would have been here. The price just reached slightly above that, and then the price started to go up. But since this is a non-repainting indicator, you will get all the past signals, and even right here. So with really small signals like this one, I would suggest that you skip signals like that, because if the stop loss is very near, like right here was your starting point and this bar was your buy signal, but the stop loss is right under that buy signal, so we should skip signals like this, really small signals. And bigger signals like this one, these are safer to trade, where the stop loss is slightly higher. Yeah, I'll go back. Let's try another, like right here, as you see, the first slope, the current slope is ranging, but all the higher slopes, they are showing a downwards trend, and the background is red. So we can take a look at this one. So yeah, the price has crossed the upper band, and we are still waiting for the price to start coming downwards, maybe in 1 or 2 bars, when you get a bearish bar and the next bar is also a bearish bar and it closes below that previous bar. In that case we will get a sell signal, and then price might start going back downwards. And all of these previous signals, they were buy signals. And as you can see, after we got this signal we got a second one, and price had this second one, the price did reach the take profit, but if we had traded this one, the price would not have exactly reached the take profit. So we have to be very careful with support and resistance lines. Like right here, this signal was right on top of a support, so this was a very good signal. The price went from this support till this resistance, and if we get a sell signal right here on this resistance, then that would also be a good signal. So for this, the price might cross above the resistance, so it's best just to wait. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the dashboard, and I'm sorry the video ran a little bit long this time, but I really hope you enjoyed this, and if you like, you can check it out on my website. The links are in the description below. And yeah, I hope you liked it, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks guys.